2023 Toyota Highlander and Honda Pilot. Which three-row SUV should you buy? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Up Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. If you want to buy a reliable, well-built three-row SUV, the Toyota Highlander has always been one of the safest choices to go for. But the Honda Pilot is not that far behind, and for 2023, Honda has completely redesigned it, making it more desirable than ever before. So the question then becomes, which is the better mid-size three-row SUV to buy? Well, make sure to stick around until the end of the video because that's what we're going to find out. And if you enjoy and get value out of this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications. I post 2 videos a week, always straight to the point, valuable car buying advice designed to help you, the consumer. So we'll start things off behind the wheel of the Highlander, which has also received some updates for 2023. Now first off, as mentioned, if you want to buy a reliable, well-built three-row SUV, the Highlander is one of the safest options that you can buy on the market. It has been around for over 2 decades and has a well-proven reputation for lasting a long time. You can buy one and keep it for 10 or 15 years without having to spend a lot of money on repairs. And because of that reputation for reliability, it also has very high resale value too, which is great to see. But although the Highlander has always had that very strong reputation, Toyota has made one major change for 2023, which was replacing the long-running 3.5-liter V6 engine with a brand new 4-cylinder turbo. Now, although there was nothing wrong with the old V6 engine, this change was mostly done for emissions reasons because the 4-cylinder turbo does have fewer emissions than the old V6. This is the same engine that's also found underneath the hood of the Lexus NX350 and the new RX350, and it's also going to be used on some other Toyota models too. It produces 265 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. A little bit less horsepower than the old V6, but more torque. And it also has the same towing capacity of up to 5,000 pounds, which is great to see. Now, in terms of actual performance, this 4-cylinder turbo doesn't actually perform any better than the old V6. It can get up to highway speeds in around 7.5 seconds, which is about the same as what the V6 was able to do. And despite being a smaller displacement engine, it has more or less the same fuel economy too, around 20 to 28 miles per gallon or 9 to 13 liters per 100 kilometers. So in many ways, this 4-cylinder turbo has not moved the bar forward in any significant way, and in some ways it's actually moved the bar backwards. For example, although it's relatively smooth and fine when you're driving it normally, when you accelerate hard, the engine is quite loud and a bit on the crude side, certainly a lot more than the old V6. And then you have those potential long-term reliability concerns due to the fact that it is a turbocharged engine. Although Toyota does have a great reputation, there's no question, turbocharged engines in general are known for requiring more repairs as they age. Now, what's great about this particular engine is that it does use well-proven and time-tested Toyota components. It's based off of the Dynamic Force engine family, the same 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine that's found in the Camry, the RAV4, and several other Toyota models, which are known for being very reliable. In any case, even though I wish Toyota would have just stuck with the old V6 engine, neither the V6 or the 4-cylinder turbo would have been my choice for the Highlander anyway. If I were going for a Highlander, there's no question, the engine that I would go for is the optional hybrid, which is an option that you don't get in the Pilot. The Highlander Hybrid uses a very well-proven Toyota Synergy Drive hybrid system, which uses a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with a 2-motor hybrid system and an eCVT, producing a total system output of around 245 horsepower. Now, the first major benefit that you get with the Highlander Hybrid is incredible fuel economy. It's able to achieve around 35 miles per gallon or 7 liters per 100 kilometers, which is amazing for a large 3-row SUV like this. And on top of getting amazing fuel economy, it also performs extremely well. It's very smooth and refined when driven normally, and it has that amazing reputation for reliability. This is an extremely well-proven hybrid system that Toyota has now been producing for several years. It's not really known for having any kind of major repair issues, and they're known for lasting a very long time. The only real downside to it is that it really doesn't produce all that much power, which is something that you notice a lot more, especially when you load up this car with a lot of passengers and cargo. But in the real world, it's realistically not that much slower than the regular engine. In any case, I'm more than happy to trade a little bit of performance for that much better fuel economy, which is very important to many buyers. Now, when it comes to the interior of the Highlander, there are some high and low points here. On the bright side, this is a very well-designed interior space. It has a lot of storage space, it's straightforward and easy to use, and the control setup is very good. Toyota has also made some nice updates for 2023. We have a brand new infotainment system, an 8-inch screen on the lower trim models, and a large 12-inch screen on the higher trims. Either way, both screens come with the latest Toyota multimedia interface, which is a huge upgrade over the system that Toyota was using in the past, and also comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The Highlander is also a very well-equipped SUV and comes with a long list of active safety features as part of Toyota's Safety Sense, which is great to see too. But the interior of the Highlander does have some drawbacks, especially when it comes to the interior space and the cargo space. Although the space in the first and second row seats are perfectly fine, the third row seats are definitely on the tight side. And you don't have a big cargo area either. Although I could see this working perfectly fine for a lot of families, there's no question if you want to have the most spacious 3-row SUV, the Highlander is certainly not going to be the one. So although the Highlander certainly does have a lot of great things going for it, how exactly is it going to stack up against the redesigned Honda Pilot? Well, it's time to get behind the wheel of it and find out. Alright, behind the wheel of the Honda Pilot. Now as mentioned, Honda has completely redesigned the Pilot for 2023, giving it a bolder, blockier, more rugged SUV look, and also increasing the overall dimensions by a little bit. Now those who prioritize practicality above everything else should be very happy with the Pilot, because the Pilot was already one of the largest and most spacious mid-sized SUVs that you could buy, so the fact that Honda has now made it even roomier than before is a very good thing. But Honda hasn't just played around with the styling and the size, they've also introduced a brand new engine underneath the hood. The Pilot now uses a brand new naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6 engine that produces 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. As with the previous generation V6, this is a naturally aspirated non-turbo engine, only now it has dual overhead cams and direct fuel injection. Now, things I really like about this engine: number one, it's naturally aspirated and not turbocharged, which is great for longevity and minimizing repair costs. It's also incredibly smooth and refined. It just feels great having a V6 engine in a big SUV like this, and it's a noticeable difference from the 4-cylinder turbo in the Highlander. Now, although this engine is not turbocharged, it is direct fuel injection, which means that carbon buildup could potentially become an issue down the road. And just like the old V6, it continues to use a timing belt as opposed to a timing chain, which means that you will eventually have to do a timing belt replacement at 100,000 miles or 160,000 kilometers, which is pretty strange to see in a brand new vehicle. But aside from that, I'm a huge fan of this engine. Honda has long been known for making some of the best and most reliable engines on the planet, and I'm sure this is going to be another great example of that. In addition to the new V6 engine, we also have a smooth shifting, Honda-designed 10-speed automatic transmission, and a choice of either front-wheel or all-wheel drive, or standard all-wheel drive in Canada. Thanks to the 10-speed, this V6 engine is able to achieve roughly 19 to 27 miles per gallon, or 9.5 to 13 liters per 100 kilometers, which is very similar to the 4-cylinder turbo found in the Highlander. And next to the very smooth and great performing drivetrain, the other benefit that you get with the Pilot is a great driving experience. As a whole, the Pilot just feels extremely well balanced. It has a very smooth and comfortable ride, and it also has surprisingly good handling, which is something that Honda is very well known for. As a whole, the ride and handling combination is certainly better than what you get in the Highlander. And if you really want, you can also get the Pilot in a more off-road oriented trail sport trim, which comes with all-terrain tires on 18-inch wheels, a tweaked all-wheel drive system, skid plates, and a 1-inch lift with unique suspension too. Now, I know it's kind of a trend to offer some kind of an off-road package on a lot of SUVs these days, but I really don't see the Pilot as being that kind of an SUV, but in any case, it's available if that's what you're into. Next to offering a great driving experience, the Pilot also comes with a very well-designed and spacious interior. The overall control layout is very similar to that of other Honda models, which means we have a very nice digital display behind the steering wheel, along with an available 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system with a great user interface and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You also have a straightforward climate control setup and a lot of great storage space. The Honda is also top-notch when it comes to safety. It comes equipped with a lot of active safety features as part of Honda Sensing, which is great to see. But it's the interior space and cargo space which really differentiate the Pilot from the Highlander. Not only do you have plenty of room in the front and second row seats, but you also have a spacious third row seat that can carry adults very comfortably. You also have plenty of cargo space behind the third row seat, and when you fold the seats down, you have a huge cargo area that can hold a lot of stuff. And perhaps my favorite feature with the Pilot is that you don't have to choose between having either 7 or 8 passenger seating. If you go for one of the higher trims, you get a second row bench with a removable middle seat, giving you captain's chairs, and you can even store that middle seat underneath the floor in the cargo area, which is a great feature to have. As a whole, there's no question the Pilot is a lot more spacious and practical than what you get with the Highlander. And if you're going to carry around a lot of passengers on a regular basis and make regular use of that third row seat, then this is probably going to be the one that you want. Now, issues with the Pilot, well, there really aren't that many. I guess you do have a rather small touchscreen, and if you go for the base model, you have a laughably small 7-inch display from the Honda Civic, which is surprising to see in an SUV at this price. You also can't get the Pilot as a hybrid, which is a disappointment considering that Honda does make a very good hybrid system that's available on some other models. And then you have the pricing. Although the Pilot is somewhat competitive to the Highlander in the US, it is significantly more expensive in Canada, with roughly a $4,000 to $5,000 price premium when you're comparing equivalent trim levels. The Highlander ranges in price from around $38,000 to $52,000 US, or $48,000 to $58,000 Canadian, with the hybrid being roughly a $2,500 premium over the non-hybrid. Whereas the Pilot ranges in price from around $38,000 to $54,000 US, or roughly $53,000 to $65,000 Canadian. So what's it going to be, the Honda Pilot or the Toyota Highlander? Well, I think this is one of those comparisons where you're ultimately not going to go wrong with whichever SUV you decide on. At the end of the day, both of these SUVs have an amazing reputation when it comes to their reliability, longevity, and low repair costs, and also maintaining strong resale value as they age. If I had to pick one particular variant to be a winner, I think it still would be the Highlander Hybrid. With that said though, for those who aren't interested in having a hybrid, I think the win might have to go to the redesigned Honda Pilot over the non-hybrid Highlander. There's no question the V6 engine in the Pilot is just a much nicer engine than the 4-cylinder turbo in the Highlander. You also just get a nicer driving experience with the Pilot, and it also has a lot of great features and safety technology, and it's also the winner when it comes to interior space and cargo space. So if that's a priority for you, then the Pilot is without question the one to go for. But the Pilot is not going to be the winner when it comes to space and practicality for very long, because Toyota is going to introduce the Grand Highlander in the second half of 2023, and that could change things completely, which means that I might have to bring the Pilot back for another comparison against the Grand Highlander in the near future. But in the meantime, what do you think of these two SUVs? Which one would you go for, or would you buy a different SUV instead? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also take a look at my other car videos by clicking these links over here. Make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to check out carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.